next, after that is done, the next player goes. And the next player is, of course, me again. And I'm going to take Trader. Trader is when you trade at the trading house. And the special power is that if you sell or trade, you get one more doubloon from the bank. So, right here I have 2 indigo. So, I'm going to put only 1 indigo because I can only put 1 barrel at a time. And there's a con to this. If I put an indigo, the other players can't put indigo. They can put either corn, tobacco, sugar, or coffee, but they cannot put indigos. So they cannot put the same thing or the same type. And corn is worth 0, indigo is worth 1 doubloon, sugar is worth 2 doubloons, tobacco is worth 3 doubloons, coffee is worth 4 doubloons. And since indigo is 1 doubloon, I take 1 doubloon. And because of my special power, I get an extra doubloon from the bank. And everyone else trades if they can. After that round is done, the next player goes. And another role is Captain. And the special power is you get an extra victory point. So, Captain, this is how it is. So, Captain involves ships. So, I have 1 indigo, and I could put it on 1 ship. As I said, if you're playing with 3 players, then you have to have the cargo ships with the 4, 5, and 6 cargo spaces. If you're playing with 4 players, then the ships with 5, 6, and 7 cargo spaces. And if you're playing with 5 players, the ships with 6, 7, and 8 cargo spaces. So, I'm going to put indigo, and this whole ship is for indigo. And then another person might put tobacco here, another might put sugar. And if this is filled, if this ship is filled, then we have to empty it and put it back in the supply. And you cannot, this ship is only for indigo. You can't put anything else like sugar or corn or coffee. And if I put indigo, for everything it's the same. You get 1 victory point for any of these barrels. It doesn't matter if it's sugar, tobacco, coffee, corn, or indigo. It's the same earnings. You earn 1 victory point only. Since I put 1 indigo, I get 1 victory point. I put it on my compass rose, and because of my special power, I get another one. There's 1 more role, and it actually has 2 roles, but they're the same. They both are prospectors. You can only take 1 of the prospectors. Prospector means you can take 1 doubloon from the bank. That's it. Nobody else does anything else. You just take 1 doubloon from the bank, and yeah, the round is over. Pretty quick round. And that's how prospectors are used. So, when every player is done taking a role, for example, let's take 3 players. So every player chose a role. And then after that it's done, you're going to place doubloons on the remaining cards like this. And then the players are going to put back their roles. And the governor's card is going to move to the next person, and then he's going to pick a role, and the game will continue. The game ends. The game ends when the colonists are over, the victory points are over, or when a player finishes or fills up all his building spaces. How to win. At the end of the game, you will calculate your victory points. You'll calculate these victory points and also the points from the buildings. So you will add the points from the buildings and you will add your victory points. And if you bought a special power, which is a building, you do whatever it says, and then you will gain extra points. And the person with the highest points wins the game. Well, the buildings. I'm going to talk about these ballot buildings right over here. So small market. So if you sell an indigo, you get 2 instead of 1. So even though you're not the person who picked trader, you still get an extra doubloon if you have this and you have put a colonist on the building. Next is hacienda. You get extra plantation tile from the face down plantation tiles. Construction hut. You get square instead of plantation, even though you're not the person who chose settler. And small warehouse is used in the captain phase, and you could store one kind of good. So you can store all your indigo, or all your tobacco, or all your sugar, but you can only store one kind. Because if you don't, then you'll have to get rid of some. Next, large warehouse is the same. It's the same as small warehouse, but you can store 2 kinds of goods. So you can store sugar and indigo, and it doesn't matter how many sugar you have and how many indigo you have. Another one is wharf. You get your own ship. So you could choose a ship, and then you could even so if one person put indigo on one ship and sugar on one ship and tobacco on the other, and you need to put corn, you could if you put a colonist on your building, then you could put corn on your own ship and get victory points. Large market is the same as small market, but you get 2 doubloons instead of 1. And office means you could sell the same kinds of goods. And you could read the rest in the manual. Hope you like this video. Bye! So another rule in captain phase is that after you're done shipping, you have to see how many you have left. So if I shipped 3 of my sugar, but I couldn't ship indigo and corn and I had them left, we would have to discard one of these. We would have to discard either corn or indigo. Because at the end of the round, each player has to, if they have more than one kind of good, they have to discard it. But if you don't want to discard, you have to have these. One is a small warehouse. You could store one kind of good. So you could store corn in here. But for the large warehouse, you could store 2 kinds of goods. So I could, if I had sugar, and I didn't sell sugar as well, I could keep corn and sugar in the large warehouse.